Hey, happy weekend, everyone. Well, it's sort of the weekend. It's Friday, February 21st. I just got out of school and got home, so my weekend has started. And I'm about to take Con on a nice little afternoon walk here. And what better way to enjoy the weekend than tomorrow morning, early in the morning, getting down to Greenville, South Carolina for a nice, fast point-to-point course from Travelers Rest, South Carolina to Greenville, South Carolina, doing the Greenville Half Marathon, also known as the Swamprabbit Half Marathon. Fast course, point-to-point with a net downhill. We'll see how I do after having recovered from sickness a couple weeks ago. So I don't know if I'm going to have my 100% A game there, but I might be able to bring something fast out. And there are going to be some other local people there to run along with. Not Con, unfortunately. He's going to be cheering me on from here. But I think he's ready to take an afternoon walk with me. So I'm going to get done with the intro, show you the gear flat lay, and then we'll get to the race footage. Okay, here's the gear flat lay for the Greenville Half Marathon, aka the Swamprabbit Half Marathon, which is tomorrow. It's going to be a cold one, but I'm still going to try and make it work with singlet and arm sleeves. I'll have a cheap Frank Shorter brand headband, ear warmers, and the same brand of arm warmers that happen to match it. These are the kind of stuff that you would pick up at the retail sites at any like Marathon Expo, so pretty cheap. And then I'm going to have a buff style neck gaiter that I got at the CRC trail race last winter when it was also really cold. Reckless running singlet, the red color because it's going to match the shoes. I'm going to have a whole bunch of gray and red. My match game is going to be on point tomorrow. And Gingy gloves, I'm probably going to have some, cotton gloves inside of those too, just because it's going to be really cold, and some hand warmers. I'll be carrying a couple of Martin gels. I'm going to have a Martin Solid for breakfast. I'm going to be wearing these Adidas Aero Ready tight shorts. They have pockets in the back and envelope style pockets on the side. I'll carry the GoPro Hero, the tiny version, the new one that just came out with me. Hopefully it won't freeze. And I'll have Injinji lightweight no-show toe socks. And I'm going to be wearing the Adidas Adizero Adios Pro 4 in the silver and red colorway. So that's kind of my matchy game going on. These were the shoes that won the viewer poll. So they're what I'm wearing for the half marathon tomorrow. Let's get it done. About 3 minutes to the start. Oh, yeah. We'll see what happens. I think I need to get up here a little bit more.
1:30 time, as long as you can possible, and I will.
About 15 seconds left.
That's great.
All right, corral one. Here we go. Hey, Bill. It's good to see you, brother.
How you doing, bro?
All right.
Good. Have fun out there, bro.
You too.
Cheers.
Mile 2 and 12:26. Good luck, Ashley. She's gonna crush a sub 90 today.
Perfect. Yeah, that's like, I like downhill running too.
There's the Swamprabbit Trail.
What you do? Go.
Oh, he's got it. How you feeling, Mitch? Hey, good. How are you? Doing all right. Good. Where'd you come from? I started behind you, I guess. It'll get faster. Yeah. Came through 5 miles in just under 31 by the mile marker. Should speed up here. And miles in 6 and 7 were pretty fast and downhill. Still going downhill, but I feel like I gotta back off the effort a little bit. I've been cranking a little bit too hard too early. Mile 10 marker, 61:48. If that's to be believed, it's gonna be a tough last 20 minutes. Mile 12, 74:40. Come on, come on. All right, so I think I did an 81:55, 121:55, and I was thinking I'd be doing well today if I could get under 82, coming off of sickness. Just barely made it. Ashley, you're gonna crush it! She's gonna get like a 128. Maybe faster.
Yeah. What was your time? 127.
Yes! I was just saying you were gonna break.
That's awesome.
All right, so I just tried to do a cool down with Ashley and Mitch. Both of them had big PRs. Mitch did a 122:55. Ashley did a 127:55. She took more than 2.5 minutes off of her time. First time under 90, and she gets under 88. But I ran about 1/10 of a mile on the cool down here, and my calves are just locked up. They were feeling pretty locked up through the second half of that race. So I'm not gonna accomplish anything by this cool down. I just need to hang out, warm up, get warm, and get some stretching done. But I'm happy with today's result, 121:55. It's about what I had today. I can't ask for much more after being laid up for a while. Hey everyone, I've made it home from Greenville and showered, changed into some clean clothes. This is the participant shirt. There's the Swamprabbit right there. Reunited with the convoy here. He's happy to see me. I'm happy to see him. So before I collapse and fall asleep, I'm gonna get a race recap out of the way. So the Greenville Half Marathon, aka the Swamprabbit Half Marathon, is a fast course. It's meant for a fast time, and it draws a large and fast field of runners. There were at least 100 runners, at least it looked like 100 runners, in the elite corral before my corral 1 took off, and they had a 1-minute head start on us. I finished in 1 hour, 21 minutes, 54 seconds officially, and I was 106th place overall, and that includes the elites. I do know that I passed quite a few elites over the course of the race. Many of the elites were not running as fast as some of the faster people in Corral A, and maybe that's because some of us didn't have times we could submit to get into that elite corral. I don't know. But yes, the first 5 miles, really, the first 8K, are gently rolling. I can't call it hilly because even though it's kind of up in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains in that part of South Carolina, it's not really using a lot of the elevation change. So it was rolling, it was undulating, and most of it was on the greenway that is called the Swamprabbit Trail on one side of the road. And then we did use a little bit of the road as well. At mile 4, we did cut off of the road and onto the Swamprabbit Trail, which is a nicely paved greenway, and it's frequented by pedestrians and bicyclists quite often. Not as many today because it was cold outside. It was about 26 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's about -3 Celsius for my metric friends. once you get onto the Swamprabbit Trail, you've got maybe another mile of gentle rolling. It's really kind of a down and then an up. And then the last 8 miles of the race, the last 13K or so, are a downhill trend. So it's fast. The middle of the race is the fastest part. It is easy to use too much of your energy in the first 4 to 5 miles. And I was trying to really monitor myself there and be conservative. My first mile was in the 6:20s. So the mile marker had me in the low 6:20s. My watch didn't really reach a mile until about 6:29. So that would have been about marathon pace. But it was also really, really crowded and really tight. I almost felt like I was being pushed off the greenway at times. At times I did get off the greenway and kind of get into the grass for a few strides in order to just get around a group of people. Getting around the 1:30 pace group was a bit of a challenge. Once we got back onto the greenway and got into the Swamprabbit Trail, even when there were a lot of people around, it was strung out enough so that you didn't really have to weave in and out of people in order to get around them. And at that point in the race, you were around the people who you were going to be running about the same pace with anyway. So I did not find myself in a no man's land for much of the race. Even when I was not running directly with people, which I did at intervals throughout the race, then I was maybe no more than 20 meters from a runner ahead of me or behind me. I could most of the time hear someone behind me or was steadily catching someone ahead of me. So I never really felt like I was having to do work alone. That middle section where the miles get really fast, and that's where some of the most prolonged downhills are, it's really easy to over crank it. And I was cranking pretty hard there. I was doing, 6.0s, 6.05, 6.07 pace miles, which had I not been sick with the flu a couple of weeks ago, I would have tried to have done the whole half marathon at that pace. But I knew that a sub 80 finish was not going to be in the cards today. So I was going to be happy with a sub 82. I really was. And of course, that's what it ended up being. But you're really able to crank and really get into that tempo or even beyond tempo pace with around a sub-threshold effort. But you're still putting that energy through your legs. And my legs had not seen a lot of speed work. There was the workout I did this past Tuesday where I had about 24 minutes of total work, and about 16 of that was in that tempo zone. But before that, I had almost nothing with regards to speed for the previous 2 weeks. So trying to do 80 plus minutes at that effort was asking a lot of my body today. And it really kind of caught up to me once I reached the 1 hour mark between mile 9 and mile 10. Just a little bit past 15K, I guess. And that was when I was really starting to feel zapped. At the same time, my calves were locking up. And I've had more muscle soreness since being sick because my legs have gotten used to not putting as much of that speed endurance, just kind of getting some of that base mileage back up. And the base hasn't been there. The speed endurance definitely hasn't been there. So the actual tissues were fighting back. So my calves were locking up. So I maintained what I could, but the last 5K was pretty tough. And I was falling off pace at that point. That last 5K I did at more of a 6:20, maybe low 6:20s pace, which is about 3% slower than what my race average was. But that middle part, those middle 4 miles or so, were about 4 or 5% faster than what my race percent average was. So did I overcook it there? Maybe I should have saved and held back on some of the effort there to try and will something for those last 15 to 20 minutes. I don't know. But I was able to at least get some mid 5-minute paces for the last quarter mile to bring it in when I knew I was going to be close to 82 minutes. And I was able to get it under 82. But I tried to do a cool down run afterwards, and I couldn't make it 150 meters. I was trashed. My legs are trashed right now. But I think I'll be all right to run next week. Anyway, let's go on to the shoe talk. I raced in the Adidas Adizero Adios Pro 4 today, and I think it was an appropriate choice for the race. There are, of course, some flaws and some things that I could have done differently with regards to shoe choice. I had just finished reviewing the Hoka Cielo X1 2.0 and was considering that shoe for this race. And I think it would have been really fun and bouncy, especially on that middle portion. Whether it would have had the response to guide me through the last 20 minutes, I might have more than this shoe. I'll talk about that in a moment. But I think I would have been struggling to really get the most out of the shoe in those first 15 minutes where we were congested and I was trying to get around people, and it was, there were some windy parts of the course too that definitely would not have favored the Cielo X1 2.0. Now, if I had the Brooks Hyperion Elite 4 PB, that would have really favored that middle portion as well. But in that temperature, the supercritical PIBA in the Brooks shoe is a little bit more affected by the cold than the TPEE in this Light Strike Pro. So I think I probably would have been a little bit beat up, especially since I favor the forefoot, and the forefoot of that Brooks shoe is a lot stiffer, a lot less compliant than the forefoot of this shoe. So I could definitely feel the compliance the whole way through. It definitely felt like this foam was not temperature affected. It did feel unstable. I've talked about in the review of this shoe how with this cutout here, it's very unstable. The resilience of the foam also means it's pretty soft. And if you watch Joanna's channel, he considers this shoe hot trash, his words, not mine, because it lacks that stability. I think at that half marathon pace where I'm really cranking, it firms up and I get some nice stability out of it. But when my legs were trash in the last 10 or 15 minutes, I definitely felt like the shoe was not doing me as many favors. But I don't know what shoe would at that point. So I think half marathon is the wheelhouse for me for this shoe. I don't think I would take it past that distance. I think it would be really great in the 10K to 15K range, but certainly for a half marathon. So the outsole provided good traction. I've done 3 half marathon races in this shoe now, as well as some workouts and some training miles leading up to the review. And other than it being dirty, there's really not a whole lot of wear there. There's a little bit of abrasion in my high wear area, missing that micro tread, where you might still have more of that on the right foot remaining. But it's a durable shoe. As far as the midsole durability, only time will tell. I have close to 100 miles on this and it still has good response. I don't know if it will be as durable as the Adios Pro 3 was, but I think I'm going to at least get my money's worth out of race miles in this shoe. So that's my shoe talk. That's my race recap. Thank you for watching. Keep watching as we get closer and closer to Boston. I'll have a few more races to share with you, as well as some more shoe reviews, I'm sure. So hit like, subscribe, ding the bell for notifications. That's LSD. Leave a comment down below because that helps the algorithm. And yeah, share the video because I don't know how many subscribers I have as of this morning, but it's getting really close to 1,000. All right, guys, thanks for watching.